everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Cassandra and I'm going to take you through this morning yoga practice. This is really a full body, deep stretch, yummy flow. If you've woken up with some tension, tightness, or stiffness in your body, I think you'll really enjoy this sequence of poses. Great for all levels, no props are required, and we really are going to try to get through all of the major muscle groups and through, the major joints of our body as well. So we're going to begin actually lying down on our belly, starting with a laying chest opener. I'm going to start on the left side first. It'll just be easier for you to see what I'm doing. So as you come onto your belly, you can extend your left arm out to the side and just have your hand a little bit higher than shoulder height. So a little bit more towards your head height here. And we're gonna roll onto our left hip, left shoulder, and left ear. I like to bend my knees and use my right hand to push into the mat. And we're just looking for a gentle stretch down that right or the left arm into the left pectorals. And if you'd like to intensify, you can also step your right foot back behind you. So the more you kind of twist open, the deeper of a sensation you'll feel. But really try to relax your neck and your head. Find some slow, steady breaths in and out through your nose. Two more big breaths in here. And if you had your right leg and foot stepped back, you can release that. Before we do the other side, we'll just transition into Sphinx. So straighten your legs out behind you and you can come up onto your forearms, palms flat to the floor. Roll your shoulders back, lift up through your chest. Think of almost pushing into your pubic bone to lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, pushing into the tops of your feet slightly. So a little bit of a back bend, but mainly focusing on length through the spine. Pressing the shoulders down. And we'll switch sides for our laying chest opener. I'm gonna straighten my right arm and lift the hand so it's about at head height instead of shoulder height. You can have a little bit of a bend in the elbow here, and then roll right hip, right shoulder, right ear. Bending into the knees, maybe using your left hand to push into the floor. You might notice that one side is a little bit tighter than the other. And you can also step your left foot and left leg back behind you. One more deep belly breath. And we'll release, bring that left leg down, straighten the legs behind you, and similar to Sphinx pose, you're welcome to do that variation again. Or if you'd like to go a little deeper, you can bring your hands off of the mat, up onto your fingertips, push into the feet, inhale, lift up, find a slightly deeper back bend here. No tension or pinching in your lower back. If you feel it there, you've gone up too high, maybe just bend your elbows so you're not up quite as high. Creating space, opening through the front of the chest here. And exhale to release. Let's press back into child's pose. Big toes together, knees as wide as you would like them to be. Push your hips back towards your heels, lengthen out through your arms, and release here. And even though we have our arms up overhead, think of sliding your shoulder blades down your back. We're trying to move slowly and mindfully this morning. Being Being really aware of how we're feeling in our bodies. And you can just walk your hands in, lifting yourself up so that you're sitting on your heels. And you can bring your knees in, hip width distance apart. We'll just open through the chest a little bit more. You can come up onto your fingertips, bringing them behind you. Bend your elbows and think of almost touching your elbows together as you squeeze your shoulder blades behind you and then lift up through your heart. So just one more nice big stretch for the upper body. And let's release tabletop pose. We'll be setting ourselves up for tiger here. So you're going to kick your right heel up, drop the belly and lift the gaze. Maybe you like to stay where you are and hold here, or you can add on by reaching your left hand, grabbing a hold of that right ankle and kicking the foot into the palm to deepen this back bend. So getting a stretch through the shoulder, also through our right hip flexors, push into your fingertips and knuckles. And as lightly as possible, we're gonna find our low lunge. So the right foot will step forward to the top of the mat between the hands. Get that right knee directly over the top of your ankle, pushing into the feet. Inhale, lift and lengthen. We're going to bring our hands together at the heart, initiating a twist from here. So I want you to feel the length through your spine. Option one, you're just going to rotate over towards the right. If you'd like to go deeper, you can bring your left elbow to the top of that right knee. And I want you to almost push your arm away from the thigh to rotate a little more. And then maybe the hips drop down a little bit lower. Think of rolling that right shoulder back. Looking down, just to help with balance, we're gonna frame our front foot, release the hands, tuck the back toes under, lift your back knee off the mat, and spin that back heel parallel to the shorter edge of your mat, coming up into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. My palms are facing down. I'm bending into my right knee, squeezing that knee open. At the same time, I'm trying to pull my left shoulder back. Getting deeper through the inner thighs. Let's straighten our right leg, narrow your stance a little bit so you can bring that back foot in. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. My hips are gonna move back. I'm gonna reach my right arm forward until I find that natural point of resistance. Then I'm dropping my right hand down, reaching my left arm up, rolling that left shoulder back. Staying with the breath. And looking down at the mat here, you're going to bend into that right knee. Bring both hands to the inside of that right leg. You'll probably need to wiggle that left foot further back. And you can move that right foot over towards the edge of the mat for this wider variation of our lunge. Left knee comes down to the mat. You can add your quad stretch from here. Right hand will circle all the way back. Bend into that left knee and see if you can pull that heel in. So I'm not trying to lift my hips up to meet my foot. I'm trying to keep my hips down and bring my foot in towards me. And keep pushing into your big right toe. So just getting deeper into the hip flexors and quads. Carefully release the hold of that back foot. Bring both hands to the mat. We'll take our flow from here. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower down with control. Find your back bend, Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Exhale, let's find downward facing dog. So our first downward dog of the day, paddle out the feet. So just bending and alternating one knee bent, the other one straight, trying to encourage your heels to reach down towards the mat so that we can stretch into our calves and our ankles. One more deep breath here in down dog. And we'll lower our knees down, coming into tabletop pose, setting ourselves up for tiger on the second side. So hands underneath your shoulders, you're going to kick your left foot up, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Maybe you just hold here, or you can reach back with your right hand, grabbing a hold of that left ankle, squeezing and lifting here. I don't want you to feel any pinching or pain in your lower back when you do this pose. You need to engage your core a little bit. Into our low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Release and step that left foot forward. My knee is over the top of my ankle. I'm engaging through my lower belly. So tailbone lengthens down, lower abdominals hug in, and then I straighten and lift up. So this length you're creating in your low lunge, we're going to maintain it even as we twist. Hands come together at the front of the heart, and maybe you just rotate so that you're facing over towards the left. You can also bring your right elbow to that left knee, pushing the arm into the thigh so that we're lifting our belly off of the thigh, rolling that left shoulder back, and then letting the hips sink down a little further. Looking down to the floor, release the hands to frame that front foot. We're going to come into warrior two. So tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee off the mat, spin that foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat and push into the feet in order to lift up, palms facing down. My left knee is bending and squeezing open. My right shoulder is pulling back, keeping my shoulders over my hips as much as possible. Finding a little bit of strength and activation here in this pose, sending the energy all the way out through the fingertips. And let's straighten that left leg. Bring the back foot in a couple inches for our triangle pose. Hips go back, lean the arm and the chest forward until you bring that left hand down, right arm rises. And I'm trying to roll my right shoulder back so that I have it stacked directly over the top of my left one. Really not worrying about whether or not my hands are touching the mat. One more big breath in here. And looking down to the mat, we're going to bring both hands to the inside of that left foot. So you can bend into the knee, wiggle that right foot back, and you can toe heel that left foot wider so that you're creating space. Right knee comes down to the mat, adding our quad stretch. I'm going to circle my left arm forward and back, maybe grabbing a hold of the foot as I pull it in. Still pushing into my big left toe so that I'm not rolling open. Carefully releasing the hold of that foot. Let's find our flow. Inhaling to plank pose. Lower down as you exhale. Inhale to your back bend. And we meet downward facing dog. Stretching it out in downward dog here. Relaxing your head and your neck. Perfectly fine to have bent knees. Your legs do not need to be straight. Your heels do not need to be touching the ground. And we'll bring our knees down to the floor. You can just lower down onto your back. We'll come into our reclined pigeon pose here, stretching through the glutes and through the hips. So with your feet flat on the floor, you can cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee and then reach through with your arms as you pull that left thigh in. Try to really relax head and shoulders here. So only using a little bit of arm strength. But otherwise, not straining too much in this pose. And give that leg one more squeeze. Keep the figure 4 shape, but just let your left foot come back flat to the floor. And then you're going to drop the legs over towards the left side of your mat. So maintaining the same shape, I'm going to use my left hand to push my right knee up. I'm trying to get my right knee to face up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to reach my right arm out to the side so that I'm anchoring down into my right shoulder. So a little bit of a twist, but also getting into the IT band, which can be a difficult part of the body to access and stretch. So I know for me, I do hold a lot of tension here. And we'll release, float the legs back up and through to center, and we'll just switch sides, doing those 2 poses. Left ankle crosses over the top of that right knee. Reach through with your arms and pull in. You can even soften through your facial muscles, your jaw. Minimal effort here. Just enough so that you're holding the leg in place, but not doing more than you need to. Maintaining this figure 4 shape, we'll bring our right foot flat to the mat, and then just let your thighs and that left foot drop down over to the right. I like to use my right hand to push into my left thigh and left leg so that my knee is facing up and I'm reaching my left arm out to the side. So chest is facing up. Keep breathing down into your belly. And releasing this pose, we're going to come into a short Shavasana. I don't usually do Shavasana in my morning classes just because I don't want you to fall back asleep, but we'll just do about 10 breaths or so. You might want to draw your knees into your belly first. Just notice what feels good. And then you can straighten out your legs and your arms. Just 10 deep breaths here, letting your body settle. Even letting your mind settle. Before we really get on with our day, we're giving ourselves permission to do less, to focus on ourselves, to stay present with our practice. Three more deep breaths. And we'll move into fingers and toes. Reach your arms up overhead. Lengthen out, and we'll just come to take a seat so you can roll over onto one side. Push your hands into the ground, lift yourself up, and just sit any way that is comfortable for your hips and for your lower back. Sitting up tall, bringing our palms together at the front of the heart. Close your eyes. Taking a moment to show yourself some gratitude for doing something for yourself this morning, for your well-being. And we'll chant Om together one time. Let's inhale to chant. Breathe in. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this morning deep stretch practice with me. I hope it felt really good in your body and that you are now ready to begin the rest of your day. Please subscribe, leave me a comment before you go, and hopefully we'll practice again together very soon.